So I've invited Martijn on. Martijn is a long-time collaborator with the Vendure project. He is also running Pinelab, which is a silver partner of Vendure. Welcome, Martijn.
Thank you very much. Hi, everyone. So a quick introduction about myself. My name is Martijn. I'm the founder of Pinelab.
Stop.
Which is,
Stop. Martijn.
Do we have to restart? Yeah, but
No.
it's fine. Everyone says Martijn.
Okay, I'm going to call you Martijn from now on. Okay,
all right,
good.
let's do it. Yeah, but you're not the only one. I think only in Holland people say Martijn, and the rest of the world just says Martin or Martijn or some weird variation.
Martijn, yeah. Good. Sorry, Martijn. Carry on.
No problem at all. So yeah, I'm the founder of Pinelab, which is a software development company which focuses on e-commerce. I live in Leeuwarden, which is all the way up in the north of the Netherlands, together with my girlfriend and my 3-month-old son.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you very much. That's why I probably look a little bit more tired than I usually do.
I understand very well. Those first months are pretty crazy times.
Yeah. It's getting better now, and I'm getting into the rhythm a bit more, so I'm doing fine actually.
Well, I wish your family all the best. And now, can you give me a little bit of background as it relates specifically with Vendure? Like, how did you discover it and get involved?
Sure. A little bit of background about myself. I started as a backend developer like seven years ago, and I mostly programmed in Java and a little bit of PHP. And later on, I discovered Node.js. And I think my first e-commerce experience building an e-commerce platform was at a company called Mr. Green. And they were leasing out Tesla cars. And over there, we built a platform so that people could order the Tesla car online. And that was pretty nice. We had a pretty small team. And what we did was we built it with GraphQL, Nest.js, and TypeORM, which is probably sounds familiar, this tech stack. And that's the first e-commerce experience I had. And then I started Pinelab in 2020. And I got asked a lot about, could you build some web shops for me? And I only really knew about WooCommerce and Magento and Shopify, but I wanted to stick with Node.js. So I just started Googling for the e-commerce frameworks out there, and I stumbled on Vendure, which had the exact same tech stack as I was used to. So that was a very easy choice to start looking into Vendure.
It was pre 1.0, right?
Yeah, I think it was 0.17 or something like this. But yeah, the tech stack just convinced me, and I really wanted to build a multi-tenant solution. So I would have one backend for multiple shops, because I think most of the medium-sized web shops have sort of the same functionality. And I think Vendure was the only one supporting multi-tenancy in that time. And TypeScript, which was a really big plus for me. I really don't want to develop in Node.js without TypeScript.
I'm with you. I got into TypeScript I think I was quite an early adopter. Someone who was in the C# world kind of said, hey, check this thing out. It's got the same language creator as C#, Anders. And that was back in about 2014, 2015, very, very early version of TypeScript I was using with Angular version 1. But yeah, I've been all in on TypeScript for many, many years. So what I want to dive in a bit more into is this multi-tenant aspect, because I think it's something really interesting that you do, because you're very successful with like many projects running on this it's a single Vendure instance. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a single Vendure instance. So yeah, what I said before is like I looked into WooCommerce. I have a little bit of experience with WooCommerce and WordPress. And the thing that always annoyed me was keeping the plugins up to date, keeping the database up to date, upgrading the WooCommerce version, and stuff will break again. So I really didn't want to have multiple servers, multiple instances that have to be kept up to date. So I thought this should be easy, right? If Shopify can do it, why can't I do it? So yeah, my point was not to build like a solution for all the e-commerce or for all the web shops out there, but just for like maybe 80% of the medium-sized web shops. And with Vendure, with the channel feature, I could just build one backend and use the channels for the channels feature as a tenant for each shop. So each channel is a web shop. And now I can only keep that instance up to date, and the plugins, I just update the plugins on that instance, and all the shops will have the new version, which is great for me, and it saves me a lot of time on maintenance.
And so each of your customers, they log into their own channel in Vendure and they just see their products and their orders and so on, and that works fine for them, does it?
Yeah, exactly, because they have like the permission on a single channel, so they only see what's in their channel. And one of the other pluses is that if I develop something for one shop because it's a feature for them, you can reuse that in the other web shops as well, because it's the same backend. You probably just need a tiny change on the storefront to include that new feature on the front end.
Can you tell us a bit about the tech stack in terms of like how you're hosting it and serving your sites?
Yeah, sure. So I host everything on Google Cloud, and basically this is just because I have experience with Google Cloud in my previous jobs. I use Google Cloud Run, which for those of you who don't know it is really simplified. It's something between serverless functions and like Kubernetes. It's like a managed Kubernetes solution from Google Cloud. You build your Docker container, and the best thing about it is you can pay per CPU cycle. So you only pay for the time you're actually using the server, and otherwise it will scale back down to 0 instances. So it's not on, the server is not on, so you don't pay for it. When you develop stuff, you have to keep in mind that everything is in a request context. So if I request something from server, then I can use the Google Cloud Run CPU, but you cannot do any background tasks. But fortunately, we can solve all of this with the Vendure Worker instance.
Right, because you've developed a plugin for that, right? To integrate the worker with the, what is it, Google Cloud Tasks?
Yeah, exactly. And Google Cloud Task is just some PubSub implementation of Google, and works a little bit different. The Cloud Tasks platform from Google will push the messages to the worker instance. So it's a HTTP request to your Vendure server, and it will then handle the job within the request and then return the status 200 or 500 or whatever. So everything is still within a request context. It's just not the user request. I could just share the link afterwards in the description, maybe to the Cloud Task plugin. It should have up-to-date documentation to install it. But I do have some sample sites that are running on the Google Cloud Run platform. So another side note about the sites, I built all the storefronts as static sites, because I believe for all the medium-sized shops, a static site is fine, because the shop owners will update their catalog like maybe 10 times a day. So it just rebuilds the whole site 10 times a day, and it does some things dynamic.
Sorry, what's the typical kind of inventory size of one of your customers? Are we talking like, have they got like tens or hundreds or thousands of products?
I think the average lies somewhere between 100 and 1,000 products. So this is a bit of a strange case where you have like maybe 200 products, maybe 300, but a single product can have a lot of variants. All of these colors from a single spray can are variants for a single product. So I think for those sizes, a static site is fine, and for the customer, it's the fastest solution, I think. But you do end up with sometimes the part where some parts need to be dynamic in the site and some parts are static. So all these colors can be static, but things like stock level change a lot. So you don't really want to rebuild every time that the stock level changes. So that's being fetched dynamically. So when you enter the site, all of these will be available. For example, this one is out of stock, and it will be updated as soon as you visit the site.
And what front end framework are you using for this one?
This one is built with Vue.js and Gridsom. Gridsom is a static site generator for Vue. It's like similar to Nuxt, but Nuxt also supports server-side generation. And for newer sites, I've also been looking into Astro, which is very interesting because it's not only for Vue, but also for. I think someone already built a Vendure storefront with Astro.
Someone did. I think it was for like a hackathon. Yeah.
It was really cool and really fast as well. So that convinced me to look into it as well.
It feels like we're in kind of the next generation of front end frameworks now with like Astro and Quick, and taking advantage of like edge computing and what work can you push out to the edge, and it's really exciting.
It is really exciting, and I would love to dive into all of these frameworks, but there's just not enough time to dive into a new framework.
You got to actually run a business as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. I finally understand when I was working day jobs that there's also a business that needs to be run, so we cannot rewrite everything every week.
Just save that for your personal blog, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I have another site that went live recently. I could also show that one if we still have time.
Yes, please. We've got time. Don't worry. We can cut out the any bits that go on for too long. You just show me everything you want to show me.
This is a new site that we've launched actually yesterday, and it's biodegradable waste turned into manure for your garden. So this is a company that builds these things, and it also sells worms and worms manure. And you can put all your waste like in a bin, and the worms will eat it, and they will turn it into manure for your garden. So that's a pretty cool business, I think.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's actually built similar to the Cantastic one, only we don't have all the variants, so it's a lot easier, and it doesn't need the rebuilding of the static site that much. I think one of the nice things from Gridsom is that it does a lot of the prefetching. So it just reuses the template and it fetches the data only, like the price and the name of a product, when you click on a page. So it already fetches that data when it's in Vue. So that's what makes it look.
Okay. So you get this instant transition when you actually navigate.
Exactly. But since we're on a Vendure call, I think it would be also nice to maybe show one of the plugins. I also try to build all the plugins as open source as well, because Vendure is open source, and that benefited me a lot. So I also try to publish all the plugins I built as open source plugins. I think one of the most used plugins is the invoices plugin. And this wasn't there yet, so I thought, okay, maybe I can build a plugin that does that. And it was actually pretty easy to implement this, because I could reuse all the Angular components that are already in the admin from Vendure. Like this table, this is just a standard component. I could just reuse it to have like download multiple invoices or whatever. And we also use handlebars for the email templating in Vendure. So we use handlebars for the invoices as well. Just an HTML template, and it fills in the order data, and it gets sent to the email to the customer via email.
Yeah, I love how integrated it looks. It's like it looks like a native part of our admin dashboard right now. Does it actually generate PDFs as well?
Yeah, it does. It does generate PDFs. You can preview your layout. I have to say this field might be a little bit overwhelming right now. It's just HTML. When you click on preview, it will download this PDF. Apparently, of course, because we're now live, it's broken. That's what happens, right? And it sends this PDF via email to the customer. So these are all the previously generated invoices, which are just my test environment. So I'm my only customer, but let's not share real customer data in the video.
Let's not do that. I like the way you've customized the backend with your logo as well. It fits with the whole color scheme as well.
I think it works great with the color scheme indeed, and I only had to include the image, right? So I didn't have to tweak too much of it. So I thought, why not? I want to have my customers see the logo every time they handle their orders.
Because we touched on the plugins, right? And you've written a whole bunch of plugins. Can you maybe just show us what some of the plugins that you maintain? I've got to also say,
Sure.
while you find this, Martin is the original author and maintainer of our official Molly payments integration. So that was something you built for your own clients, right? And then donated to Vendure Core.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's one of the typical cases of scratch your own itch, I guess. I built these things for my clients, and I think, it probably benefits the rest of the Vendure community as well. I think one of the upsides is all the plugins that are open source and are used heavily also get like bug fixes and pull requests for new features. So it improves the overall quality of all the plugins as well if I open source them. So it's a win-win.
Definitely. I mean, it's exactly my motivation as well. I've been doing open source things for a long time, and the amount, I mean, with Vendure in particular, I decided to make it full time. But even before then, when I was just doing internal projects and open sourcing little parts of it, the amount of people using it, finding out edge cases and bugs, and even contributing sometimes does make it worthwhile.
All right, so I've made a separate website for all the plugins. Because I think it's more friendly than having a single README on GitHub. You could also visit them or find all the plugins on GitHub, of course. It's called Pinelab Vendure plugins, so that shouldn't be too hard to find. And here you have the list of all the plugins that are available. Most of them are free. Right now, the PDF invoices plugin requires a license, but all the infrastructural plugins will be free forever because they just make the world a better place. So no one has to worry about that.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I would encourage everyone to just take a look at it. And I try to build all features as standalone plugins because it makes it a lot easier to maintain as well. Because I can use the Vendure testing framework, and it just tests everything on a pull request. So that saves me a lot of headache with manual testing and those sort of things. Oh, we have a pretty cool plugin coming up. I've been working together with IS Outfitters, with Matthew, to build a Stripe subscription plugin. And I don't think there is one yet in the Vendure ecosystem. There is a Stripe plugin, but it's for the one-time payments. And this plugin will have pretty cool features which turns products into memberships. So people could order a membership through Vendure, and it will have like a recurring subscriptions via Stripe, and it will have down payments and discounts and stuff. So I think that should be coming out somewhere in the next weeks. So that's going to be nice.
Yeah, it's something that has been asked about a lot in Slack, actually, subscription support. I've got personally no experience with it, so I'm very happy that you're looking into that and handling that. Are you collaborating with it because he's using it also in his business?
Yeah, exactly. So he asked me to join him on building this, and I try to also convince clients to make the plugin open source because it will also benefit the plugin on their end. And I have to say, most clients see this, that open sourcing the work that's been done for their company will benefit them in the long run as well.
I think that's a shift that's happening away from, because there's been in the past this idea, this misunderstanding that if we open source something that we've built, then our competitors are going to just take away all our hard work, and we'll be at a disadvantage. But you look at any modern company today, and they're absolutely built on the foundations of open source, from their operating systems that the web servers run on to basically the entire stack that they use to build their websites and servers and everything like this. So
yeah, I'm glad the shift is happening. I think it will benefit not only all the companies, but also a lot of people who are just playing around with stuff like Vendure and start contributing as well. That's what happened to me when I saw it.
Yeah, I know. And for me personally, it's like doing open source has opened a lot of doors. It got me my first conference talks, and met lots of people, built up a network with people from all over the world just from sharing code on GitHub, which is pretty amazing. You've told us about one plugin that's in the pipeline. can you tell us a bit more about your future plans regards Vendure?
Sure. Let me think about it a bit. I think what I really want to do is just keep building the plugins and keep building maintainable plugins. So they shouldn't be too specific. It should really benefit the rest of the world as well. And I'm actually trying to do the same thing with the storefront. So it's going to be hard to make it like framework agnostic to build components. But I'm really trying to build some storefront component things that can be reused for different storefronts as well. I know a few storefronts also does similar things, I think, which are really nice, and I think they're on a really nice track. Only I really want to do stuff with static sites, so I'm trying to build my own components right now. But I think they should be open source as well. But it's just still a long way ahead. So that's something I'm working on in these couple of months.
Great. Well, I know the feeling. There's always too much to build and not enough time to build it in. That's very real. All right. So then, just to round it out, then, thank you, Martin. If you're looking for someone to build out your Vendure website, check out Pinelab. If you're looking for high quality plugins that just work great and look fantastic, as you've just seen, then check out Martin's Pinelab plugins website. And thank you for being a part of the community and being a partner of Vendure. And yeah, I'm sure we're going to work together much more in the future.
Thank you for having me. And for everyone viewing this video, feel free to reach out to me on Slack and hopefully talk to you soon.